Mike Tyson walks into Catskill Boxing Club, carrying a worn gym bag when a 280-pound heavyweight looks at him and laughs, says, "You're too small for heavyweight." What happens in the next 12 seconds doesn't just prove the heavyweight wrong. It demonstrates why Cus D'Amato believed this kid from Brooklyn would become the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Catskill, New York. October 1984. Tuesday afternoon. The Catskill Boxing Club sits above a police station on Main Street. Narrow wooden stairs that creak with every step. At the top, a heavy door with peeling paint. No sign, just a door that opens into transformation. Inside, the gym is everything a real boxing gym should be. Concrete floor painted red, cracked where heavy bags have hung for 30 years. Walls covered in yellowed fight posters and photographs of champions. The ring dominates the center, canvas stained with sweat and blood. Speed bags in one corner, their rhythm a constant percussion. Heavy bags in another, swaying slightly. The air smells like leather, liniment, sweat, and the particular electricity of men testing themselves against their limits. It's mid-afternoon. Maybe 12 fighters training. Professionals mostly. Serious men doing serious work. No music. No conversation. Just gloves hitting bags, rope skipping, breathing, grunts of effort. The rhythm of discipline. Mike Tyson pushes through the door. 18 years old, 5'10", 220 pounds. Not tall by heavyweight standards. Most champions are 6'2", 6'5". Giants who use reach like weapons. Tyson is built different. Thick neck, 20 inches around. Designed by Cus to absorb punches. Shoulders that roll forward naturally, peekaboo stance already ingrained. Torso, like a compressed spring. Not bodybuilder muscle. Fighter muscle. Functional. Dense. Dangerous. His face is young, boyish even. But his eyes tell a different story. Dark. Focused. Containing something that shifts between vulnerability and violence so quickly, you can't catch the transition. When he's still, he looks almost gentle. But when something triggers that shift, his entire presence changes. The air gets heavier. Predatory. Mike walks to an empty corner, sets down his bag. Doesn't look around. Not rude. Just focused. He pulls out hand wraps. Left hand first. Between each finger, around the wrist, across the knuckles. The wrapping is meditation. Every fighter has their own pattern. Mike's is methodical. Tight, but not restrictive. A few fighters glance over. They've heard about Mike Tyson. The kid Cus D'Amato is training. Cus, the legendary trainer who shaped Floyd Patterson into champion. The old man who says this kid will be heavyweight champion of the world. Most people are skeptical. The kid is short. Heavyweights are supposed to be tall. But a few fighters here have seen Mike work. Have watched the speed, the power. They're not sure what they're watching, but they know it's different. Mike finishes wrapping, pulls on 16-ounce red Everlast gloves, stands, rolls his shoulders, breathing deep and controlled. Cus's technique: oxygenate the blood, calm the mind. He walks to a heavy bag, plants his feet shoulder-width apart, weight on the balls of his feet, hands up in peak, a boo position, gloves protecting his face, elbows tight to ribs, head moving before he even throws a punch. Then he starts working. Jab, jab, left hook to the body. Step right. Right uppercut, left hook. Step left. Every punch thrown with full commitment. The bag swings hard. Chains creaking. The entire frame shuddering. Mike moves with it, cuts angles, attacks from different positions. The way Cus taught him. Don't wait for the fight to come to you. Fighters start to notice. Stop their work. Watch. There's something mesmerizing about how Mike moves. Hands that shouldn't move that fast on a heavyweight. But it's not just speed. It's efficiency. No wasted motion. Punches appear without warning. Mike works for 5 minutes straight. Doesn't slow down. Doesn't get sloppy. He steps back, breathing hard, but controlled. He's pulling off his gloves when a voice cuts through the gym. "That's cute." Mike stops. Doesn't turn around. The voice continues. "Real cute. But this is the heavyweight division, kid." Now Mike turns. Slowly. The shift happens. That thing in his eyes. From Mike to Mike Tyson. From boy to weapon. The speaker stands near the ring. 6'5", 280 pounds. Late 20s. Cauliflower ears. Scar tissue. Broken nose. Set poorly, multiple times. Danny Briggs. Journeyman heavyweight. 10 wins, 4 losses. Never fought for a title. Never will. He's what boxing calls a gatekeeper. Good enough to beat anyone who doesn't belong. Not good enough to beat anyone who does. Danny's heard about Mike Tyson, Cuss's new project. The kid supposedly revolutionizing heavyweight boxing. The hype job. Danny's been training here a week. Watched Mike a few times. Decided to say something. To put this kid in his place. Danny walks closer. Looking down at Mike. Using his height. "You're what? 5'9"? 5'10"? How much you weigh?" Mike doesn't answer immediately. Just looks at him. That stare. Empty. Calculating. 220, Mike says quietly. His voice is soft, high-pitched, almost gentle. Doesn't match his body. Danny laughs. 220. You know Larry Holmes walks around at 230? Real heavyweights are 240, 250. And they're tall. 6'3", 6'4". They keep little guys like you on the outside. Jab you to death. You won't even get close. The gym has gotten quieter. Everyone aware something's happening. Mike still hasn't moved. You think size matters more than skill. Danny spreads his arms. Look at me. Look at you. I got 8 inches of height. 60 pounds. My reach is probably 80 inches. Yours is what? 71? I can hit you, and you can't hit me. Mike nods slowly. Then, Cuss says assumptions about boxing get fighters hurt. Danny's eyes narrow. What's that supposed to mean? Means you're assuming reach means you control distance. But if I'm faster than your jab, your reach means nothing. Danny uncrosses his arms. You think you're faster than my jab? I don't think. I know. The gym is fully quiet now. This is about to become something. Danny looks around. Can't back down now. Okay. Ring. Right now. One exchange. You try to get inside my reach. I'll show you why size matters. Mike looks toward Cuss's office. The door is closed. Cuss doesn't like Mike sparring without supervision. But Cuss isn't here right now. And Danny is challenging everything Cuss taught. This isn't about ego. This is about proving Cuss right. Mike walks toward the ring. Danny grins. Thinks he's won already. They climb in. No headgear. No mouthpieces. Just gloves. Fighters gather around. This is better than their own training. Danny towers over Mike in the center. The size difference is stark. See that? Danny stretches his jab. That's where I live. You gotta get through that. And you won't. Mike doesn't respond. Just stares. They back up. Danny takes his stance. Textbook. Left foot forward, right foot back. Hands up. Looks like a manual. Mike takes peek-a-boo. Hands high. Gloves pressed against his face. Elbows tucked tight. Knees bent deep. Weight shifting constantly. Head moving already. Danny smirks. You're going to get tired holding your hands that high. That's why nobody fights like that anymore. Mike doesn't answer. Just keeps moving. Breathing. Waiting. When I say go, you try to get inside. I'll just jab. Let's see you deal with reach. Mike nods once. Go. Danny throws his jab. Fast. Real. Snapping from his shoulder. Coming from 80 inches away. What happens next takes 12 seconds. But those 12 seconds contain an entire education. Mike's head moves. 3 inches left. Danny's jab passes where his face was. Mike's right foot steps forward. 6 inches. Closing the gap while Danny's jab extends. Danny sees his jab miss. Tries to retract. But Mike's moving again. Left foot follows. Another 6 inches. Closer. Danny jabs again. Mike's head slips right. Misses. Another step. Danny realizes something's wrong. His jab should work. But Mike isn't outside anymore. He's in the middle. That gap, where Danny's not comfortable. Where his size becomes a disadvantage. Danny tries to step back, reset. Mike doesn't let him, cuts him off, still moving, head shifting, still protected, still patient. Danny throws a right hand, swings from his hip, telegraphs it. Mike ducks under, comes up inside Danny's guard, chest to chest. Danny's arms extended, hugging air. That's when Mike shows him. Mike's left hook explodes from nowhere. Compact, short, vicious, lands on Danny's ribs, left side, over the liver. The sound is wet, meaty. Danny's face goes white. His body folds. Involuntary. The liver shot shuts down the nervous system. Danny's hands drop. Go to his side. His mouth opens. Can't breathe. His knees buckle. Not all the way. Just enough to show he's compromised. Mike steps back. Doesn't follow up. One punch was enough. Danny staggers. Stays on his feet through pride. But everyone knows. He's done. If this was real, Mike could have finished it. The gym is silent. They just witnessed something impossible. Watched 60 pounds and 8 inches mean nothing. Watched reach and size get erased in 12 seconds. Then the office door opens. D'Amato walks out. Thick glasses, gray hair. Old man shuffle. Sharp eyes. He saw. Michael, Cus says, voice high-pitched and squeaky. Come here. Mike climbs out, walks to Cus, vulnerable again, just the boy. Cus guides him into the office. 5 minutes later, they emerge. Cus climbs onto the ring apron, addresses everyone. What you just saw is what I've been teaching Michael for 3 years. It's not a trick. It's understanding that boxing isn't just about physical advantages. It's about neutralizing your opponent's advantages while maximizing your own. He looks at Danny. Danny, you're a good fighter. Strong. Experienced. You have size and reach. But they're only advantages if your opponent lets them be. Michael controls distance better than you do. Makes your size irrelevant. Cus turns to the gym. Most trainers teach fighters to use their gifts. If you're tall, use reach. That's good. But I teach how to take away what the other man relies on. Michael is short for a heavyweight. Everyone says that's a problem. I say it's a gift. Lower center of gravity. Harder to hit cleanly. Everything they say is weakness. I turn into strength. Danny climbs out. Walks over. Mr. D'Amato, I apologize. I disrespected your fighter. Your system. I was wrong. Cus waves this away. You weren't wrong to question. You were wrong to assume. Questions are good. Assumptions get you hurt. 1. Quote 72-3. Danny looks at Mike. That liver shot. I've been hit by heavyweights who fought for titles. That was different. Mike shrugs. Cus taught me body shots. Says breaking the will is better than breaking the face. Man with a broken will quits. I quit the second you landed that, Danny admits. Over the following weeks, Danny stays. Asks to learn. Cus teaches him principles. Ways to think about fighting Danny never considered. Danny and Mike become training partners. Respectful colleagues. 3 months later, Danny wins his next fight. Uses what Cuss taught. Reporters ask what changed. I stopped assuming my advantages were enough. 2 years later, the 22nd of November, 1986, Mike Tyson beats Trevor Berbick in 2 rounds. Becomes youngest heavyweight champion in history. 20 years, 4 months, 22 days old. Every prediction Kuss made comes true. Except Kuss isn't there to see it. He died a year earlier. In his post-fight interview, Mike says, "Kuss taught me that everyone comes into a fight with a plan. They assume things. My job is to show them their assumptions were wrong, show them so fast they can't adjust." Years later, on Mike's podcast, someone sends Danny the episode. Danny calls in. "Mike, you forgot the best part." "What's that?" "After you hit me, I went home and told my wife I'd just been hit by the future heavyweight champion. She thought I was making excuses. But I knew. Those 12 seconds told me everything. You were different. Special." Mike is quiet. Then, "Danny, you weren't the guy who learned the hard way. You were humble enough to admit you didn't know everything. Most fighters can't do that. That's why you had a long career. Not for losing, for learning. Who have you underestimated because of their size? Their age? Their appearance? What assumptions are you carrying? Because 12 seconds is all it takes to prove those assumptions wrong." Mike didn't just beat Danny that day. He gave him a gift. The gift of knowing you don't know everything. The gift of humility. And Danny was wise enough to accept it. That's power. Not the power to hurt. The power to teach. To show someone their world is bigger than they thought. To transform 12 seconds into a lifetime of growth.